This video is all about consciousness. Specifically, we're going to go into detail about the third and highest stage of human consciousness, known as the vehicle. My name is Brent Michael Phillips. I am the founder and creator of the awakening dynamic system of energy healing and higher consciousness. And this is video number 6 of 9 in our series on consciousness. Big picture, I created this series to help you understand what human consciousness is, how does it work, and in particular, what are the different stages or levels of consciousness, and how can we learn to move between them more easily, more gracefully, with less pain and struggle. And so, if you haven't gone through the others, you might want to. Because here, again, we are talking about the highest stage, the third and final aspect of human consciousness called the vehicle. And so, quite simply, victim consciousness, which is 0 to 199 on the Hawkins scale, is where you think that what you do doesn't really matter. It's all the powers outside of you. It's the government, the weather, my parents, my boss, whatever, right? And so the victim doesn't do a lot of long-term planning, doesn't do a lot of self-improvement beyond what they really have to, and lives mostly for instant gratification. The next step that we covered in the last video, number 5, is the victor. As a victor, we learn to take accountability for our life. We learn to improve ourselves, learn skills, make money, accumulate wealth, etc., in order to help us to get more of what we want out of life and less of what we don't. The trouble is, as we covered in the last video, you can't win the game of life just by being a bigger victor. More money, more love, more fame, more YouTube subscribers, more whatever will not scratch that deep itch. For that, we must raise our consciousness. And so, victims become victors through the process of self-empowerment. Victors become vehicles through the process of awakening. And I'll talk more about that in this video. So, the vehicle state is very different in that the vehicle is all about learning to detach from the agenda of the ego and instead becoming present. Learning to live your life as a vehicle, a vessel of a higher power or guidance. Now, I think of myself as a spiritual teacher, not a theologian or religious person. So, totally up to you how you think of that higher power. Universe, cosmos, God, religious term, up to you, right? All I would ask to be open to this work is that we recognize that there's some kind of higher power in this universe beyond the human's ability to think and process and reason. Because you know what? As smart as we humans may think we are, there's gotta be something smarter, right? And no matter how much we learn and know, there's always way more that we don't know. And so, back to the vehicle stage. The vehicle can be difficult to wrap your head around at first, simply because most people in this world are not even aware that it exists. Most people in the world think of life more like a competition. That's a very victor-centric view, that it's a competition for money, for attractive partners, for the good land, for the good car, the house, the luxury lifestyle, whatever it is. As a victor, we think that we can get what we want and be okay on the inside by manipulating the world around us through hard work, talent, maybe some luck. We can get what we want and avoid what we don't. So I'm going to borrow a little metaphor from Michael Singer here, one of my favorite teachers. If you're watching, Michael, but would love to meet you sometime. I think your work is amazing. What he talks about is how many of us on the inside think that, well, I'm in here, but I'm not okay. And things have to change on the outside, right? More money, married to a different person, different living situation, different job, something with your kids, your parents, whatever it is, right? Life can be complicated. The victim thinks, I'm not okay. I need X, Y, and Z to be okay, but it's not really up to me. So I'll just grab everything I can, right? If I got some money, let's go buy booze. Let's drink, forget about it for a couple hours, and don't worry about tomorrow, right? Again, nothing wrong with that. That's just one stage of consciousness. Just like a 4-year-old is probably only interested in toys and cookies. That's okay. They're 4, right? No worries. Doesn't mean we don't love them. Doesn't mean they're not important. Just means they're 4. And so the victor looks at their life and goes, okay, I'm in here and I'm not okay. Because again, I need more money, more sex, more health, less pain, better house, whatever, right? But the difference is the victor says, what can I do to make the world be the way I need it? And again, that's an improvement. The trap of the victor, though, as we discussed in detail in the last video, is that even if you got all those things, even if you could bend the world to your will, you would get a brief relief. You'd feel better for a short time, but then you'd go back to not being okay again. And you would need more money, more health, more sex, more cars, whatever, right? After all, why do billionaires work so hard just to make more money? Some of them take insane risks. Some of them do things that are illegal to get more money. I mean, how crazy is that? You're a freaking billionaire. You don't need more money, right? But that's the trap of the victor. You think that if you can just make the world around you be the way you want, you will become okay. Does not work, at least over the long run. The vehicle, though, is a totally different beast. The vehicle says, well, if I think I'm not okay because I don't have enough money or I don't have enough sex or my kids are in the wrong school or whatever it is, right? Insert life issue here. I don't need to force the world to be different. I just need to shift my perspective. It's really that simple. The vehicle is all about detaching from the content of your life. But I want to emphasize, detachment does not mean getting rid of, does not mean quitting or being a weenie. No, it simply means detaching. And I got a whole video just on that one aspect later in the series. But the point is, the vehicle says, oh my gosh, I am okay. But yes, do vehicles want more money? Sure. Do vehicles want to have better sex, live longer, have less pain, get their kids into a better school, have more money for retirement? Abso-freaking-lutely. But they're not attached to it. That's the difference. And so there's a great story. One of my colleagues had studied with Krishnamurti. He was a spiritual teacher. He was active in Southern California, I believe, in the 70s. A little before my time. I was a child at the time, so I didn't know him directly. But this is what he told me, that people would meet Krishnamurti, and he would have this incredible energy. And that's what happens. These great teachers, the masters, the siddhas, whatever you want to call them, they have this amazing presence. They literally radiate joy. And people would come to him and say, Master, what is your secret? Because they go, there's so many problems in the world, right? Watergate, Vietnam, terrorism, oil embargo, lots of crap happened in the 70s, right? A very difficult decade economically, politically, amazing artistically, in Brent's opinion. Incredible music, movies, a lot of great art came out. But it was a difficult time in a lot of ways. Inflation, right? People would say, Master, how can you be so joyful when there's wars going on, when children are starving, when airplanes are being hijacked, all these things, right? When I have to wait 2 hours to get 8 gallons of gas, what the heck, man, right? Krishnamurti would say, no problem. Come to my next talk. I will tell you my secret. And so people would gather and he'd give his talk. And invariably, someone would go, hey, man, you promised us you tell us your secret. And he'd go, yes, I will. And at the end of his talk, he would say, this is it. This is my secret. I don't mind what happens. It is that simple in theory, that we're in here, right? And the world is out there. You can be okay no matter what. It's just a matter of shifting how you look at things. So I want to emphasize, do vehicles have problems? Yes. Do their cars break down? Do pipes break? Do they lose money on investments? Do they have loved ones that die? Yes, 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 and yes. In fact, believe it or not, they grow old and die too. Both of my, what I consider master teachers, Terry and Carl, both of them passed away. So vehicles die. They have heartbreaks. They go to the dentist. They stand in line at the DMV. No difference. But the change is on the inside. A victim says, I need more money. Screw it. It's somebody else's problem. Give me more money, right? I'm going to go get drunk or play a video game or whatever. Because what I do doesn't really matter. A victor says, oh God, I need more money. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Tell me what to do. Let's go take action. How do we get money? Oh God, I need money or I'm screwed. You see the traps there, right? The victim's trap is under responsibility. The victor's trap is over responsibility. The vehicle says, this is interesting. I am suffering. But they understand that someone giving them money or them taking the right action doesn't solve the problem. It just covers up the symptoms. They need to shift on the inside to be okay no matter what's happening on the outside. And here's one of the difficult aspects. We talked about earlier in the series how for the most part it's pretty easy to distinguish victims from victors. That's pretty easy. If you're watching this video and paying attention, you got it, right? Easy. But it's very difficult, at least at first, to distinguish the victor from the vehicle. Why? From the outside, victors and vehicles look almost identical. The difference is on the inside. And so the vehicle says, what is it in me that's making me think that I have to have X, Y, or Z to be okay? And then makes an inner shift and becomes okay. It does not mean they don't go for what they want. No. Do vehicles like to make money and have sex and feel love and make a difference in their work and be healthy? Yes. They just realize that that all happens on the inside. That a high-level vehicle is okay no matter what. So here's one of the secrets I've discovered, is I've been doing energy healing, spiritual work, manifesting for over 20 years as a full-time professional as I make this video. Masters never need to make sure of anything. I'll say that again. Maybe a little weird to hear. Masters never need to make sure of anything. They truly are vehicles of a higher power. They understand that life happens for us, not to us. And so, can vehicles lose all their money and become homeless? It's possible. It's unlikely, but it is possible. The vehicle would simply go, that's unexpected, but this is for me. How do I make an adjustment to be okay? I'm not condoning that, but I also want to emphasize that non-attachment is not just a coping mechanism. It is powerful in making you a bigger victor too. And here's how it works in essence. I got lots more material and trainings because this is a really big deal, but I'm going to say it quickly. Because the vehicle is not attached, they're not resisting what they don't want. Therefore, it's much easier to get what they do want. So the number one reason for most of us, including this guy here, that you may struggle to make as much money as you'd like is simply that you're in so much resistance to not having it. It's that simple. And the only way to fix it is on the inside. So how do we do that? I'm going to tell you right now in this video, right after I ask you a simple question. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Would love to share, interact. Who is your favorite master, siddha, enlightened being? I'm just curious. I'd love to hear from you. Are you a follower of Jesus or Buddha or maybe Gandhi, Krishna? Again, totally cool, right? I'd love to get an idea of who you are, who you look up to. I think they're all amazing. I think there's incredible value and inspiration in every religion, every great teacher, all of them, there's something to learn and grow. So thank you for sharing. While you're there, hit like, hit subscribe. I would love for these videos to get out there to help more people. The only way that happens is if you tell YouTube this is cool. If you want notifications, click the little bell. Awesome. So let's go back. How do you become a vehicle? And so I'm going to tell you. First in the abstract, then with a little more step-by-step. The way you become a vehicle is you graduate from the high victor state through the process of awakening. What does that mean? And so awakening is a huge topic. I have a whole series of programs specifically designed to wake you up step by step. Not going to get into that here. Not a sales pitch, right? Just know there's a lot more. Look in the links if you want to learn more about my stuff. If this calls to you, I think you'll love it. Absolutely life-changing. That's not Brent saying it. That's many of my past clients and students. It really, really makes a huge, oh my gosh, can't overestimate how big this is. Here's awakening. Awakening is not about learning about energy healing or guardian angels or manifesting or law of attraction. That's all great. Nothing to do with any of that. Awakening is coming to a crystal clear understanding of what is you. We said earlier that the way most of us see life is I'm in here and the world is out there and I'm not okay because I need X, Y, and Z, right? What is that you that's in there? What is you? And so that is the process of awakening. And what I have found is most people think there's some kind of being. You think you're a man or a woman or something in between, or maybe you're a spirit, or maybe you're a soul. Notice those are all beings. They're all nouns. That can only take you through the victor state. To become a vehicle, you must radically discover the truth of awareness. What is the real you? And waking you up in a short video, almost impossible. It'd be like teaching you everything you need to know to be an electrical engineer in a weekend. Doesn't work that way, right? It's just too much. But I'm going to point you in the right direction. I'll give you as much as I can right now. As long as you carry around the old definition of you as some kind of being, physical, energetic, whatever, you can only get to the top of the victor stage. We have to let that go. And awakening is a mind F, for sure. It turns everything you thought you knew inside out. But it's the most awesome thing ever too. So find the teacher, the program, the support you need. If you like my stuff, I'd love to work with you. Check out my 30 Days to Awakening program. That's what it's for. I also do live intensives as well as private sessions to help people wake up. And essentially, the process of awakening is a graduation. And that's such a powerful concept. Why? You don't stop being a victor just because you wake up. That never stops. You'll always want to get smarter, faster, stronger, healthier. Yes, 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 yes. But you have graduated. So what does that mean? Well, a lot of us growing up went to school, right? Grammar school, middle school, high school. And when we're in school, the most important thing you're focused on in your life is your education. That's why we have child labor laws, right? So up until you graduate high school, for most people, for the most part, the number one thing is your education. And so you learn history, and you read English, and you learn chemistry, and geometry, and Spanish, or whatever, right? Creative writing, all this stuff you learn. Just because you graduate from high school doesn't mean you stop learning things. Of course not, right? It just means you've learned enough to move on. Maybe you go to college, maybe you start a career, right? Maybe you learn a trade, maybe you get married. That's up to you. But you've learned enough to move on. But the learning never stops. After high school, as you probably know if you know anything about me, I went to MIT. Those diplomas on the wall are real. I went there more than once. And here's what's crazy. I spent 6 years at MIT, 6.5 really, collecting degrees, learning about computers and electronics and physics and math and all that cool stuff, right? My career in software was shorter than my time at MIT. So I spent less time working as a professional software engineer than I did at MIT learning it, right? I learned way more post-MIT than I did while I was there, about software at least, right? I'm not slamming MIT. Phenomenal school. I think it's the best school in the world. Way better than Harvard for sure, right? And I say that with love. Yeah, just trying to be funny. Maybe I'm succeeding, maybe I'm failing. I don't know. You be the judge. But the point is, you don't stop learning just because you graduate. It just takes a back seat. When I left MIT, my number one focus was my career, my companies. But I kept learning to facilitate that. That's the vehicle, people. The Victor growth never stops. Learning, growing, stronger, faster, better, more efficient. Yes, 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 yes. But you've learned enough. When you're the Victor, it's like being in school. Your number one thing is your education. Your part-time job, whatever, is second, right? Once you've learned enough, you graduate. Then for most of us, our primary focus is your career, your family. But to never stop learning. And so vehicles are not weenies. It's not let people do whatever they want to you. No. It's simply the focus turns inward. That's why I say, from the outside, the victim and the victor are clearly different, easy to distinguish. But on the inside, the victor and the vehicle are very different, though they look the same from the outside. Most of us would not recognize a vehicle walking down the street. I didn't. My late mentor, Carl, lived 2 blocks from where my best friend and business partner did in Santa Monica. And I spent so much time with my buddy, right? We were best friends for a long time. It's highly likely I walked by Carl or we're at the same restaurant or coffee shop at some point. I would have had no idea that he was such an incredibly powerful and high consciousness person. And so, most important things. Number 1, there is a stage of consciousness beyond the victor. So I just want to share something that I've experienced, which is I've struggled a lot to manifest money. Why? Because I've been resisting not having it. My mind gave it so much meaning. But I had this amazing experience about 8 years ago now. I was watching VH1 late at night. They were playing some really cool old videos from the 80s, music videos. And I thought to myself, wow, that was such a cool time. It seemed like every week there was some new band or new music I was discovering. That was cool, right? And I forgot about it, went to sleep. I woke up the next day, and ever since then, I have discovered so much more amazing new music. It feels like I'm discovering some incredible new band every week. Oh my gosh, and I'm a music person, and it's been so amazing. I've discovered 20 times more music than I'd ever thought was possible that I love so much, right? And why was I able to manifest an abundance of amazing music with just a thought? But years, decades of work, law of attraction, block clearing, mind power, etc., has been so much harder with money. It's simple. Attachment, people. It's that simple. I wasn't attached to the music. So with a simple thought, an abundance has showed up in my life. I mentioned recently, I think I've discovered more amazing music in the last 2 years than I did in my whole life up to then. And you can do this too, not just with music, but with money, with love, with health. And I also, just so you know, didn't really start making money beyond survival until I started studying awakening to become the vehicle. So here's my last message for you. If you're still watching this video, you are ready to graduate or you already have. For many of us doing this work today, one of the primary reasons you're here on earth is to wake up, to graduate, to become a vehicle, and radically transform your consciousness. Please find the teacher, process, approach that works for you. Lots of great choices. I'm an option if you like my stuff. I'm not super famous, so I'm easy to access. You get a lot of personal support. Check out the links. But it's totally cool if you like another teacher. Just stay on your path and do it. Not just for you, but for the whole rest of the world. That's all I got to say for right now. I hope you found this some combination of informative, entertaining, and transformational. And we'll be back soon with more on consciousness. We're not quite done. Until then, please take care and namaste.